Business Bros Radio Show back here on Global News Radio 640 Toronto. You want to contact Paul anytime. Simple, paul@trainingbusinesspros.com. You can't forget that number, 416-444-PROS. That is 7767. Make sure your free marketing tips, the digital marketing cheat sheet, got to have it full color, laminated, get great reference guide, things like the 7-step client value optimizer system, glossary of digital marketing terms, so much more. You can have an actual hard copy of that, but you need an email address with or a phone call with a mailing address because it has to physically come to your home or your place of work to take advantage of that. How are you, pal?
Well, I'm great. Thank you for asking. How are you?
Good. All right.
I think if they want a digital copy, we can give it to them, but it's not going to have as much impact because, you get to hold it. It's tactile.
Or they might delete it or lose it. Just have it on your desk.
Yeah.
Physical copy.
Right. So some interesting news that happened this week. We launched a new YouTube channel. And I know that most people are like, well, it's easy to launch a YouTube channel. You just get an account and throw up a video and you have a channel.
Right.
That's not really a channel. That's more like a, I don't know, pastime toy that you can play with. And, it takes a lot of work to do that. We have a full recording studio for video. And we launched a channel called Street Smart Marketer TV. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because it's the videos that we're putting on there are extensions of the radio program.
Okay.
So we're talking marketing strategies.
Excellent.
But because we can demonstrate things.
There's a visual component.
And it's a great studio, and we put a lot of time and effort into it. So if anybody wants more information, and not anybody, you, the listener, who's sitting there with your coffee and you're driving your car going, who is this Paul Tobey guy? And you want to see what I look like.
YouTube's the way to go.
They may be shocked. They may not be. Who knows? They're not going to see what you look like, John, because you're not on the show yet. But we'll have you on the show soon. That'll be fun.
Cool.
And so streetsmartmarketer.com. You can go to streetsmartmarketer.com and just click the link, and you can go join our YouTube channel. The first episode is up.
Good stuff.
And we've got promo stuff on there. We've got recently recorded radio programs. And so they can go and do that. So that's fun, right?
Fantastic. It's good. It's good stuff you got going there.
So we're going to talk about a little bit more about AdWords and PPC today. Do you want to introduce the topic? Or?
The 5 most common mistakes that will eat up your PPC pay-per-click marketing budget and get you nowhere fast. It's never good going nowhere fast.
We've seen a lot of evidence recently of clients who come to us who lose a lot of money by advertising incorrectly. And it makes sense, right? I mean, you can't always get it right the first time.
Especially if it's not your area of expertise.
So a lot of people who might have traditional marketing experience think, oh, it's just an ad on AdWords. I'll just go write an ad and I'll get some traffic to my website. But it matters where you send it. It matters the audience that you're attracting. There's a lot of factors. And so I thought, well, what are the biggest mistakes that we're seeing companies make? Right. And that's where this topic comes in, the 5 most common mistakes that will literally eat up a marketing budget really quickly. Because if you give Google money to spend,
they'll spend it.
They'll spend it.
No problem.
They have no problem spending. The only time they won't spend your money is if that audience doesn't exist. Like, let's say you choose keywords that aren't that popular and people aren't searching for those things.
Right.
You got a very specific niche product, niche product. Yeah, there might not be enough traffic for that, and you say you want to spend $5,000, but Google's only got $1,000 worth of traffic. So that's not going to work. But
that's generally not.
But in most cases, if you say my marketing budget is $5,000 a month, and you put in a maximum spend of $5,000 in Google, they'll take it in the first 2.5 days if you don't stagger it, right? Sure. So. Because they make about $9 billion off of AdWords. It's a lot of money.
Whose ever idea that was at Google? Pretty smart. Good move. Right? Number 5, let's get right into it, is not tracking conversions, especially call conversions.
This is interesting because typically when companies buy traffic, and we do this regularly, and we've been doing this for a long time, where when we want to set up a landing page, the goal of that landing page is to collect a lead. Give them somebody to talk to, give them somebody for the CRM to follow up with. Basically, bring in some business. And the normal way is to have somebody fill out a web form. You give me your name, your email address, we'll get back to you. You can choose an appointment time, or you can download this thing and learn more about our company, that kind of stuff. And that works. But What we learned from that was, and we didn't actually know this in the beginning. It took us a while to figure this out, that there's actually quite a few people out there that just prefer to pick up the phone. So you paid for the ad, and the conversion tracking is set to track the web lead, but how do you track the phone call? How do you make sense of that?
A lot of people wouldn't even think about doing that at this point, right?
Right, because it's not really tied to Google at that point, because they clicked through to the landing page and they're essentially clicking the phone number that's on the landing page.
Right.
Now, you can, and there's probably some experts out there going, well, you can do Google call conversions. Yes, you can, but that's not your phone number. That's Google's phone number.
What do you mean?
So what Google does is, in order to track call conversions to the landing page, if somebody clicked a regular phone number on a landing page, Google can't track that. But what it can track is track one of its phone numbers that forwards to your number.
Really?
So the problem with that is clients say, well, I don't want Google's phone number on my website. I want my own phone number. And so at that point, you can't track call conversions anymore. So how do you track call conversions?
Right.
And the answer is other piece of software. We use CallRail, CallRail. Good news about CallRail is it not only tracks the number of conversions from your ads and the number of people that called, but it also tracks the phone call. Like, it actually records the actual phone call.
No kidding.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about, that's one of my big 5 here, things not to do. And you're wondering, well, how is that? Why shouldn't you do that? Well, you should record the call, but it kind of factors into one of my other big 5, which is here's what not to do.
Right. We'll get to that. Lots more to go here. Just getting warmed up in the Business Pros Radio Show. Want to contact Paul? Take advantage of that digital marketing cheat sheet. You can either download it, but prefer to have the actual hard copy. That's easy to get. The phone call 416-444-7767 or 444-PROS, and Paul at trainingbusinesspros.com. Lots more is on the way. Global News Radio, 640 Toronto. Get a hold of Paul and his team, 416-444-7767, Paul at trainingbusinesspros.com. Make sure you want to also include a mailing address so you can get a hard physical copy of the digital marketing cheat sheet as well. We are talking about the 5 most common mistakes that will eat up a PPC marketing budget and get you nowhere fast. We're into number 5. We were talking about that, and that is not tracking conversions, especially call conversions. You have a way to do it. CallRail, and go on from there.
The conversion is the most important thing. What did it cost me to create a lead?
Right.
And there's an acceptable number for any business. I was actually training this morning, and I pulled out 3 examples. A company like a bin rental company doesn't need a web form. That's a call and order your bin process.
Yeah.
A car detailing company doesn't need a web form for you to fill out and make an appointment.
That's why you're there.
You call,
you make an appointment.
You get the deal. You make an appointment. But a finance company,
yes,
people have a choice. Do you want to call, or you want to fill out this web form and answer some questions, and we'll get the right person on it. We'll have them follow up with you.
Right.
So while one company might need to track both, some companies only need to track one or the other. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
What we learned from that is that you have to add the 2 together and divide that into the amount you spent. So if you spent $3,000 a month on advertising on Google, you need to track both, because that tells you your total cost per lead.
Okay.
Add the number of phone calls to the number of web leads, and you get a final number. That number can vary anywhere from $10 per lead to $1,000 per lead.
If you get 3.
Correct, because there are companies who are in, it's a high-priced item. Some people don't make quick decisions.
Yep.
We would never accept a client who it cost us $1,000 to create a lead. That would never happen. Actually, we don't have any clients right now that are over $100. So typically, we're in the $10 for the leads for the car detailing company, up to $50 for the finance company.
That still seems really reasonable.
It's nominal.
Yeah,
it's nominal. I mean, a car detailing company charges $300 to $500 for a detail.
For a full package, yeah.
You get a lead for $10. You close 1 in 3. It just costs you $30 to create a $500 deal.
Yeah, sponge.
It's a no-brainer that he's continuing to do it. He's happy. But the finance company needs to talk to somebody. Did they qualify? There's a process that you have to go through. So the cost per lead is different for every company, but then there's the quality of the lead and all that.
Yeah.
That's why you need me, because I've been through that with many different companies, and I understand the process of how to convert those leads into business. And that's a very important part of the process.
Paul's number, by the way, 416-444-PROS to get a hold of him. Paul at trainingbusinesspros.com, talking about the 5 most common mistakes that will eat up a PPC marketing budget and get you nowhere fast. Number 4, not completely understanding broad, phrase, and exact match keyword modifiers. What is all that language? I read it correctly, did I not? Yeah, I got it.
I hesitated when I put this on the page because, of course, and my father accuses me of this, by the way. He's like, listen to your radio show and it sounds a little highbrow.
In that voice,
and then we pull out a statement like this. He's probably going to think we're absolutely nuts. Why are you not connecting with regular people? I think anyone who's listening to this, you need to understand that when you advertise in a search engine, what you're advertising to is what people are looking for. So they type in a keyword phrase and your ad shows based on what they're looking for. So if somebody types in chronic pain relief,
right,
you need an ad that talks about chronic pain relief, which goes to a landing page where they can call somebody and talk about how to get relief from chronic pain.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
But they're not just typing in chronic pain relief. They're typing in 100,000 other keyword phrases that are somewhat similar to chronic pain relief.
Yeah, or something to do with it.
I've seen people try to choose keywords based on whether they're broad match, phrase match, or exact match, and add keyword modifiers without any understanding of what that means.
Okay.
And so you end up buying a lot of useless traffic. So the topic of today is how can you waste a lot of money on PPC advertising?
Right.
By not understanding how Google displays advertising based on what people are searching for.
Okay.
You don't want people clicking on your ad for something they didn't search for. So if they search for something that is not specific and your ad shows, they'll click on you because it's there. So you'll get a lot of bad traffic.
Just white noise.
Right.
That aren't going to convert into leads. Right?
So if you're doing this yourself, let me give you a piece of advice. Mr. Audience and Mrs. Audience who's sitting there going, I manage my own keywords and I'm not doing a very good job. Here's what we do. We pick the top 3, literally like, what are the top 3 keyword phrases that represent our product and service?
Okay.
And then we run them broad match for a month. And in that month, Google will weed out on its own any ones that don't get any traffic. They'll just take them completely.
Of the 3?
Of the broad list.
Okay.
So out of the original 3, Google will create a list of maybe 1,000.
Jeez.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay.
Because people type in all kinds of crazy things. And by the way, there are new search terms popping up all the time that aren't part of the historical database. So run it broad match and you can learn a lot from that.
Okay.
Because you learn nothing if you get no traffic. And a lot of people go in there and they type in exactly what they want people to search for and they don't realize why their ads aren't working. And the answer is you narrowed your audience.
It's not broad enough.
It's not broad enough. And you can't learn anything from people who don't click through to your landing page.
We got lots more to go, and we'll stay on this one. We're talking about the 5 most common mistakes that will eat up a pay-per-click marketing budget and get you nowhere fast. To contact Paul and the team, Paul at trainingbusinesspros.com. And the number 416-444-7767 or 444-PROS is the way to do that moving forward. Business Pros Radio Show continues. This is Global News Radio, 642. Get a hold of Paul. Simple. 416-444-PROS. You want to get that digital marketing cheat sheet, call that number. A physical form as well. Paul at trainingbusinesspros.com for email. The 5 most common mistakes that will eat up a pay-per-click marketing budget and get you nowhere fast. We're in number 4. Now that you broke it down, it makes a hell of a lot more sense. Understanding broad keyword modifiers, phrase keyword modifiers, and exact match keyword modifiers.
So a little more detail.
Yep.
We were talking about chronic pain relief.
Yep.
If you put square brackets around that, people have to type in chronic pain relief to see your ad. That's called exact match.
Do you want to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
But not in the beginning.
Okay.
Because if you do that in the beginning, you don't learn what people actually do versus what you think they do.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It's all coming together now.
Okay.
All right.
Phrase match means chronic pain center plus other words outside of it.
Okay.
So if somebody types in Toronto chronic pain relief, your ad's going to show. If they type in chronic pain relief Mississauga, your ad's going to show.
Okay.
So it has the phrase that you want plus anything outside of it. So if they put in what's the best chronic pain relief in Toronto, your ad's going to show.
Okay.
People type that all the time. They say, where do I find the best physiotherapy near me?
Gotcha.
They type that in.
Mm-hmm.
You can't buy that keyword phrase. You can buy the phrase that's inside the keyword phrase. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Broad basically means that the keywords or any one of the keywords or any variation of that keyword will prompt a search result.
Chronic will, pain will.
Yeah, so
relief
you think
will.
about what's a synonym to chronic?
Right.
What's a variation on chronic?
And all those will pop up.
And all those will pop
Oh,
up.
wow.
as well.
That is broad.
It is broad, but you learn a lot from that because you learn what people actually do versus what you think they do.
And will it categorize how many times different words under that broad search are typed? Do you know what I mean?
What do you mean by categorize, though?
Well, it'll break down how many times someone searched this word
Yes.
related to chronic.
And that's where the learning comes in.
Very cool.
Because then you can say, well, what did they actually type?
Yes.
And what of what they actually typed is creating the best results. So, for example, if you get 57 clicks to the landing page for somebody who typed in hip pain,
Okay.
yes,
Yep.
and you get no calls and no leads, scratch that from the list of available keywords because it didn't work.
That's so cool.
Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah.
So, but like I said, the problem is when people don't completely understand the system, they invent their own.
Okay.
And that you can blow, trust me, you can blow thousands of dollars on AdWords and not get any business because you don't understand this part.
Right.
It's an art to pick keywords. It's an art and a system of experience plus solid research and data mining to figure out what's best for your company.
Would the average person or average business before they come and see you would just like figuratively cast out a massive net, like a hit and hope type of thing, and say, oh, I know what to do?
Yeah, I've seen pretty much both
Yeah.
sides. I've seen them cast a really wide net and I've seen them go really narrow.
Yeah.
Neither is good.
Yeah.
Neither is good.
The number is 444-PROS, 416-444-PROS, or Paul at trainingbusinesspros.com. We are talking the 5 most common mistakes that will eat up a pay-per-click marketing budget, which you have, and get you nowhere fast. Number 3, not answering the phone, the bleeping phone, or don't know how to sell.
So here's what we learned when we started tracking call conversions.
Yeah.
So people go to the landing page. They don't want to fill out a web form. They don't want to give you their email address because they know you're just going to
Yep.
in most cases, spam them with a bunch of information. They just want to talk to somebody. So they click the phone number and they call. What is the percentage of people, if you don't pick up the phone in 4 rings or less, what percentage of people don't leave a message
Yeah, and never come
or
back.
hang up after 4 rings?
Yep.
What percentage?
I would say a very high
It's
percent.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you don't answer the phone in under 4 rings, you just lost a lead that you paid good money for.
Nice. Good call.
That makes sense. So
Yeah.
answer the phone.
Yeah.
They won't leave a message.
No, they can't be
Not in
bothered.
our experience. They don't leave a message. The only good thing from that is if you're tracking, sometimes you can get their phone number. So the software will remember their phone number and you can call them back.
Back to call rail.
But the problem with that is they don't know who you are.
Yeah. Because
Because they're doing research online. They're just like, well, who are you?
Yeah, I don't remember your phone number. I
Yeah,
remember your
and they
name.
think that you are some kind of like stalker.
Or duck cleaning service.
Yeah.
And they're not going to answer.
Because you call them back. Say, I'm calling you back from Training Business Pros because you clicked on a phone number on our corporate training webpage.
Right.
And they're like, you're who?
Yeah.
Who
I
are
did-
you? Because
yeah.
they don't even remember the name of the company. They just were looking for corporate training company.
Didn't get an answer, walked away.
So it's not. It doesn't seem to work to call them back.
Okay.
We've had companies try that. It doesn't work very well. So if you don't answer the phone, you lose the business, and it just costs you money.
So it goes back to the old bread and butter of picking up the phone and talking to somebody.
Yep.
At the end of all this.
Works very well,
That's what it
actually.
comes back to.
And so if you're not able to answer the phone at 11 o'clock at night when that's the only time they've got time to search online,
What do you do?
you don't run your ads at 11 o'clock at night. You can you can say, I only want to answer the phone between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. And that
is an angle I never even thought of in the online space.
Yeah.
Using the clock. I never thought you could run your ads to...
And you can work on their time zone, too.
To day part your ads.
So we have one mortgage company. They can answer the phone between 8 in the morning and 9 at night.
Okay.
Because the one guy says, hey, have him call my cell. I'm good. You know what I mean? But after 9, it's like, I'm not answering the phone.
So why send them
So
there?
we're not going to buy traffic for that time.
Wow.
If we do that, we'll send it to a landing page where they can fill out a web form and we'll call them later.
Right. Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
The second part of number 3 is they don't know how to sell. So we've had a lot of clients, and this is why we record conversations. Mm-hmm. The phone rings, and the person answers the phone for product XYZ or service XYZ, and this is how they answer the phone. This is a real example. You ready? Yeah.
That's it.
What do you want? Where are you calling from?
That's nice.
What? No. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No. And
abrupt.
And
That's
then
stupid.
Eventually they just argue with the client, and the client hangs up.
Wow.
The clients hung up on this client. The call-ins hung up on this guy who's answering the phone 80% of the time. Hung up.
Yeah, he needs to go.
So why spend money on advertising if you don't know how to talk to people? And you think I'm exaggerating?
Because I don't understand why anybody would answer a phone like
so
that in a business.
we gave them 2 choices. Here are your choices. 1, we farm out your phone calls to a third-party service
Who know how to do it.
who can talk to people, make an appointment, right? Number 2 is we're going to sit you down and we're going to give you the ABCs of answering the phone. Like,
Yeah, here's how you do it.
You answer the phone and say, yeah, it's company XYZ. What can I do for you today?
Right.
That kind of stuff. But it's amazing how business owners or, people who aren't trained salespeople deal with other people on the phone. They're not really good at incentivizing. They're not really good at small talk. They're not really good at mirroring people's energy. Like if you call me and you're happy and I make you unhappy in 30 seconds,
good.
There's no deal.
Yeah.
There's no deal.
It almost sounds like they answer the phone like they're talking to a buddy. Yeah. Like,
exactly.
I don't know you. Why you're answering the phone like that, right?
And then you get a bunch of people who don't speak the proper language.
Sure. That's reality. It's a reality, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, so number 3 is very important because you're not just going to get web leads when you advertise online. You're going to get the phone to ring, and if you don't know how to answer the phone or you don't answer the phone, that's lost money, and you can eat up a PPC marketing budget really, really quickly if you don't have that covered.
And that's what we're talking about. Still the top 2 to go, the 5 most common mistakes that will eat up that PPC marketing budget and get you nowhere fast. Stick around for it. Lots on the way. Paul at trainingbusinesspros.com is the email. You get that and take advantage of the digital marketing cheat sheet. And 416-444-PROS is the number as well. Business Pros Radio Show rolls on Global News Radio, 640 Toronto. Get a hold of Paul anytime, 416-444-PROS and Paul at trainingbusinesspros.com. We continue with the Business Pros Radio Show here on Global News AM 640 and the digital marketing cheat sheet, full color, laminated, great reference guide. You can get it by leaving an address. That is a mailing address. You want an actual hard copy, that would be advisable. The 5 most common mistakes that will eat up a PPC marketing budget and get you nowhere fast. We're all the way down or up to number 2. That is, don't know how to write a compelling ad. What's the number 1 rule?
So go ahead.
I have no idea. That's
so you know what I
here.
mean by ad, right?
Yeah.
Somebody types in a search term and Google displays
your thing.
Search results.
Yep.
Top of the page is 4 ads if there's advertiser competition, which for many things there is. Sometimes it'll show 1 or 2, which means there's less advertisers for that specific keyword phrase.
And it'll tell you, right?
Yeah, it'll there's a little moniker there. This is ad. I think people know the difference now.
Yeah, took them a while.
And if they click an ad, it kind of says a lot about them that they're willing to hear you out.
Sure.
Right? We call that high-level customer buying readiness. And then, of course, under that, you've got the organic search results, which people like as well. So it's a combination of some people click ads.
Some people don't.
Sometimes.
Yep.
Some people do both. Some people just click organic.
Okay.
I've seen both. They both work. For us, it's quicker to do advertising because you can't rank for everything. You can't organically rank for every
Yeah.
keyword phrase that you can think of.
Yeah.
Certainly not the hundreds of thousands that people are using.
No, it'll be endless.
It's
It'll be
endless. You can never do that. And companies say, "Well, we just want to rank number one." I'm like, "For what?
Yeah.
For what?
For what?
Oh, for everything." I'm like, "Yeah, that's not going to happen."
No. So compelling ad writing.
So the question was, well, what's the number one rule? So think about this. There's an ad in amongst a bunch of search results. It has to obviously stand out, but what makes it stand out? What makes that ad? Because it's just a text ad, right? There's no pictures. There's no. If it's a shopping ad, it'll show a handbag or whatever. But most of them, if you have a service, it'll just show some text. So what's the number one rule of writing a compelling ad?
Make it simple.
Simple, that's a good start. What else you got?
Theory.
What else you got? You're doing good, by the way.
I am? All right.
Actually, simple, I always say to my people, they say, well, how come you didn't use so much text? I go, less is more.
Yeah.
If you can say it in less, say it in less. It takes people less time to read. And
Nike, just do it.
If they understand it quickly,
right,
then it doesn't take up a lot of space and they'll get through it quickly.
Make it obvious, make it big, make it colorful.
Well, you can't make it colorful because
true.
Google uses the same, the title is blue and underlined. The description is plain black.
Yeah.
Okay, so here it is. One word. Incentive.
That's it.
That's it.
Throw them a bone.
Throw them a bone.
Offer them something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do dogs love bones?
Yes, they do.
No, they love steak. They settle for bones. And for those of you that are listening going, settle, what does that mean? Well, if you look settle up in the dictionary, it says this: sink slowly to the bottom.
That's awesome. That is so funny.
So never settle.
Give them the steak. Don't give them the bone.
Never. Dogs only settle for bones because that's all you're willing to give them.
Right.
I did a test with my dog. My dog's name is George, by the way. He's a little.
How is George? Is he all right?
He's old.
Yeah.
But anyway, I did a test one day on the dock. And I put down 2 plates side by side with the same amount of bone and the same amount of steak. Yeah. He went to the bone first, sniffed it, went to the other plate, ate the entire steak, went back, grabbed the bone, and ran away.
Awesome.
You with me?
A good boy.
It's like they want steak. Yeah. They settle for bones. So my point is that when you throw a bone to a client, try to get as close to steak as you can.
Okay.
They want a reason to go to your site. So what I find with a lot of advertisers, and I see this all the time, is let's say they're selling, I don't know, a refrigerator. Okay. And in your ad, it says, we build refrigerators that keep your food cold and last a long time.
So?
Well, I'm not going to buy a refrigerator that doesn't.
That's not what I want. Yeah.
So there's all these, and so you should statements, right? And so you should sell refrigerators that keep food cold.
Right?
And they're making all these mundane sort of, we build fences that last.
As opposed to ones that don't last. Right.
Like, what I want is, I'm expecting the fence to last. I'm expecting the fridge to do its job. What else you got?
Right.
Is it 10% off today?
Yeah.
Do I get a guarantee? How quickly can I get it? What is my incentive as my demographical category that you can give me?
Extra
that's
warranty
20% student discount would be good. Do you know what I'm saying? That's incentive. And what I find with a lot of advertisers is they miss that part, or they don't have one. And if you don't have one, you're relegated to good hypnotic copywriting and credibility, but that's about it.
It sounds like they rely more, or they think it's more attractive to rely on boasting. We have fences that last. We make the best refrigerator.
Right. They're trying to build credibility with words.
Right.
Credibility can only be built by experience and by other people saying you're good at what you
do.
And you can't really put a testimonial in an ad. Well, you suppose you could, but it's tough.
Yeah.
So essentially what you have to do, if you don't have any incentive, is you talk about how credible you are. Okay. And that's what they do. But that's not money well spent on AdWords. In our experience, if you can provide some sort of motivation to get them or to compel them to take an action and click through to your landing page and take the further action, that'll work better than if you just make credibility statements. You with me?
Yeah. We'll get to more of that. Number 2 and number 1, the 5 most common mistakes that will eat up a PPC marketing budget and get you nowhere fast. You need to know these. Stick around. Paul's number anytime, 416-444-PROS, and Paul at trainingbusinesspros.com. Lots more than the Business Pros Radio Show is on the road. This is Global News Radio, 640. The number is 416-444-PROS to get a hold of Paul at trainingbusinesspros.com. We keep talking about it. You need it. Get a hard copy of it especially, so leave an address, a physical address where they can send you the digital marketing cheat sheet, full color, laminated, great reference guide. You can have it. Just contact Paul as soon as you can. We are talking about the 5 most common mistakes that will eat up a pay-per-click marketing budget and get you nowhere fast. Went through 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's just go through these quickly as we started at the beginning. Number 5, not tracking conversions, especially call conversions. Not completely understanding broad phrase and exact match keyword modifiers. Again, call Paul anytime if you didn't understand or if you missed part of this. Number 3 was not answering the friggin' phone or don't know how to sell. That is key. And number 2 was don't know how to write a compelling ad. All about number 1 rule and incentives.
Incentive was the number 1 rule.
Offer something.
Throw them a bone.
Steak, but a bone if you have to, right?
If you can get to a steak, that's better. People
Right.
would prefer a 50% off discount than 10.
Yes. Okay. All right.
And if you're going to give them a deal, by the way, put a limitation on it because it's not a deal if I can get it every day of the week.
Right.
You with me?
Yeah.
So people, you have to, you know what FOMO means? Fear of missing out.
You need that.
Yeah. People need to know that it ends.
2 days.
Yeah.
2 days left to take advantage.
Till Friday, 5 p.m.
Right.
Early bird special.
Yeah.
No rain checks.
And then you're stiffed.
Yeah.
Number 1 is your landing page. Your landing page sucks. That's a real term. Your landing page sucks. What do you mean?
Well, you typically wouldn't want to send traffic to a homepage because if you buy a lot of different keyword phrases in Google search engine and you send it to your homepage, you're expecting people to find their way around. A landing page is designed to give them what they were searching for.
Okay.
Take them exactly to where they should be.
Good way to define it. Okay.
And there's been a lot of, obviously, learning to do on our part on what makes a good landing page. There's been a lot of design changes. There's been a lot of copywriting stuff that we had to think about. Mm-hmm. Calls to action, what compels people to take it. Should you have a red button or a blue button?
Okay.
By the way, the answer is
red.
Yeah. But only if the background is red. Don't use a red button. Whatever button you use, it has to stand out.
Green
right?
doesn't work?
Green doesn't work, actually.
No kidding.
It'll work if you've got, whatever the main color of the site is, make the buttons or the call to action buttons the opposite.
Use your color wheel.
Make them the opposite.
Yeah.
Basically, opposite world works. So all of these little things. And it typically takes us, it could take us 10 hours to put together one landing page.
And that's you guys.
Because there's a lot of thought and modifications and copywriting fixes. And we have a lot of experience because we don't take that landing page lightly, because that landing page job is to do one of two things. 1, get them to fill out the web form, or 2, get them to call. Yeah. And if it doesn't do those things, then it sucks. And you're wasting client money. And that's not good.
How many people, I don't know if you would have these numbers off the top of your head, how many businesses that you've come across use their homepage as their landing page?
Almost all of them. If they do their advertising themselves, they send their traffic to their domain name.
And that's it.
Yeah. And make people find their way around, and then they wonder why it doesn't work.
And I was going to say, what's the conversion on that? Probably extremely low.
Yeah, really low. Well, it depends. If your company only does one thing and it's easy to find on the homepage, then that's cool. But most companies aren't like that. Most companies do many things and have many different products and services. So they have to, whatever page you send them to, it has to accurately represent what they want. You can't make them search for it. So that's really important. The tracking of the conversions from that landing page becomes ultimately important, which was why it was made, today's discussion. Yeah. But I want to reiterate, as a company, what I'm seeing more and more often is that most advertising companies or marketing companies, they're building a landing page and just leaving it. I can't state enough that we never do that.
What do you mean leaving it?
Like they build it and they think they get it right the first time. Only data mining will tell you if it's working or not, and the specific areas like heat maps of what they're clicking and what they're not clicking. And I can think of one company right now. They do advanced presentation systems. It's a tough sell because those things start at $10,000 for one, and they want a company to buy 20,
right?
Like a training college or something like that, right?
Yeah.
They don't want to sell one; they want to sell 100. That's a big deal. And so when people hit that landing page, our job is to get them to make an appointment to talk to somebody on which presentation. Do you want Google Jamboards or do you want, smart boards?
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Do you want electronic whiteboards? What do you need? What are you trying to accomplish? That kind of stuff, right? So it takes a conversation. We are currently in our 4th variation of that landing page. So initially we split tested 2 of them. We got one that converted better than the other, and we're never happy with the conversion rate. Never. So if we're getting leads for $100, that's not acceptable to us. We're always pushing the envelope of lower cost per leads and higher quality leads.
I want to talk more about this after we take a short break for another example from you, Paul. The info to get a hold of Paul anytime, especially take advantage of the digital marketing cheat sheet, 416-444-PROS, and Paul at trainingbusinesspros.com. We'll continue more of the Business Pros Radio Show on the way. Global News Radio, 640 Toronto. You need to get a hold of Paul anytime. Email and his crew, Paul at trainingbusinesspros.com. 416-444-PROS is how you do it on the Business Pros Radio Show. We are talking about the 5 most common mistakes that will eat up a pay-per-click marketing budget and get you nowhere fast. You did mention, the landing page and how important that is. Going back to your fridge example about, your fridge advertiser, you're not going to boast about your fridge. You're going to want to offer an incentive. What would a landing page look like for a company that sells, say, fridges or fences? What would they do?
Well, that's a bit of a broad question. So our job is to accentuate the incentives.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes more sense.
So if they have something that they can offer, such as a coupon or a piece of learning or a free trial, anything that can get them in the door, right? Get them in the door. We call that loss leader, right? If you can sell them something small and move on to the big later on, we call that a loss leader, right? You're not going to make a ton of money, but at least you generated a lead. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense.
So does that answer your question?
It does answer my question. Just wondering how that would look like. Right?
So that brought us to number 1, but I brought a bonus reason.
Okay, good.
But before I do that, I wanted to remind people about the new YouTube channel.
Okay.
So streetsmartmarketer.com, and then there's a link to Street Smart Marketer TV on YouTube.
Good stuff.
Subscribe to that because you get to see us in action by video, and we give a lot of detail and examples and demonstrations of the things that we talk about on radio. So it's brand new. We just launched it yesterday.
Good.
Took a lot of time and effort to get episode 1 in the can, and our goal is to make 1 a week, but it's a big job.
You bet. Well, it's not some 10-year-old with a video camera. It's actually got some production.
It's a whole
shots
production. It's like a TV show, and we have a whole set and everything, and it lots of investment, and people are going to be surprised when they get there because there's not a lot of subscribers because we launched it yesterday.
Well, it's okay. It'll come.
And so I wanted to let people know about that. It's free information.
Great.
All you got to do is go. You don't even have to subscribe, actually. You can just go there and watch.
Yeah.
And if you subscribe, at least you get to stay in the know of what, you'll get notified of new videos that are being posted. And there's topics that we do all the time. So the bonus reason that I bought for wasting a lot of money on PPC, because companies do this all the time, is they neglect to remarket. So imagine you paid $8 a click for somebody to come to your landing page about, debt consolidation.
Okay.
We have a lot of finance companies that we do work for. So they get to the debt consolidation page and they're just kind of kicking tires. They don't really know you. They don't recognize the company name and they leave. Okay. How much does it cost to get someone else to that landing page?
$8.
$8. How much does it cost to get the person who's already been there back to either that page or to another page because they didn't act on that page in the first place?
I'm sensing a lot more than $8.
Well, actually only about $1.
Really?
So it's a lot cheaper to go after somebody who's already been to your website than it is to go find somebody new. So the real value of remarketing is reminding somebody that's already been looking for what you do, but didn't take the initial action. So
it's the tap on the shoulder.
It is. It's basically saying, hey, you wanted these golf clubs.
Still got them.
We still have the golf
Excellent.
clubs, and now here's a coupon for 10% off kind of thing. So it's a lot more effective to go after people who've already shown an interest than it is to go find somebody new. And a lot cheaper.
I have been a positive victim to that myself.
Mm-hmm.
You're just about to shop. You're just about to get something. You get distracted. You forget about it. You got to, hey, don't forget about us.
And I've heard companies say, I don't want to do that because that's annoying.
No.
Well, maybe in your opinion, but what we know for sure is that it absolutely works.
Yeah.
It does work. Somebody shops for a high-end Hermes handbag that's $45,000. They're gonna do some shopping. They're not gonna take your word for it
Of
that
course.
you have the best price.
Yep.
They're gonna shop around. They're gonna click the Google ad, and then they're gonna go to the one store and the next store, and then they're gonna check it out on, maybe even eBay. I don't know.
Right.
Who knows what they do? They if they're going to spend $40,000 on a handbag, they're going to take some time.
Yeah.
So they've already been to your website. 5 minutes after they've been to the website, they've forgotten all about you. They were just checking prices. They don't remember your company name. They don't remember anything. But to remind that person that they haven't yet bought the handbag is a lot cheaper than getting a new person to find the handbag and buy it.
Well, and they wouldn't have come back anyway because they'd already forgotten about you. So
Correct.
there's really
They're
harm
never
in doing
coming
this.
back. They don't
Right.
remember your company.
Totally.
They only remember what they want.
Yeah.
And this works in all industries. I've seen it work for shopping. I've seen it work for service companies, any type of service company. I've seen it work for bin rental companies, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
So it's, in you're talking about saving money in buying advertising, you have to be remarketing because it's a lot more cost effective and very effective to get people back than it is to go after somebody new. So that's what I got.
That was the top 5 most common mistakes that will eat up a PPC marketing budget and get you nowhere fast. If you didn't get all 5, you can contact Paul. And seriously, if you're thinking about doing this would be the time because this was an important show. There's a lot of good information there as well. StreetSmartMarketer.com is the YouTube channel. Go check it out. It was just launched. There's going to be fantastic stuff forthcoming on that channel as well. And to get a hold of Paul, real simple, Paul@trainingbusinesspros.com.